Hi, welcome back to a new episode of the Guys Book Club in the Board, aka Book Club, yeah! And guys, today, this is extremely special episode because today, guys, one episode 251, which means, guys, that on the weekend was a special episode of the 250 episode. And tell me in the comment below if you enjoy it. I enjoy it. I learned a lot from it. I really enjoy to make the background, the channel cover, art cover. I'm looking forward to continue it, or maybe we got a 260 episode, so we can continue to do it. And slowly but surely we're going to be the biggest. We're going to grow to be the biggest podcast in the world. So let's go. And guys, this is extremely special episode because this is episode, like as I said, 251, which means it's a new week. And as you noticing, this is a new book. We got a new book to read, guys. And I'm really pumped up to read this book, Your Next 5 Moves, by Patrick B. David. We already read Doing the Impossible, the 25 Laws of Doing the Impossible by Patrick B. David. And you know, I'm really take a motivation from Patrick and really inspired by Patrick. Definitely recommended to check him out, and I'm really look forward to read this book. And I'm really happy that we are going to start this book, to read this book right now, because right now I'm working with my boy Jan King to open our own podcast and to work on it. And part of the podcast that I'm doing this podcast is because I want to practice and to gain confidence to stand in front of the camera, as I said. And so we want to build our work plan, our business plan to our business, and this book came right just in the perfect time. Your next 5 move. So this is a new book, guys. I really look forward for this to making this series. You guys, if you're new to the channel, welcome, and if you're already familiar with the channel, welcome back. My name is Host, and on this podcast, guys, we work together on English speaking level, reading level, and on our communication skills to stand in front of the camera and to communicate through the camera. Guys, I'm doing this podcast because I truly believe that English is the number one tool that each one of us must acquire in order to be successful in life. And the second tool that it's going to help us a lot is to know how to communicate well through the camera. And if you take those two skills and you combine them together, you have the opportunity and the ability to create great content and to influence billions of people all around the world, which is crazy, guys, which is such a crazy opportunity that we have in this era. So you don't know what is going to be next, if YouTube is going to be free forever, or if any other social media is going to be free forever. We don't know. We know nothing about it. But right now, I know that it's free, and the only thing that discuss you just to have your smartphone. And if you watch this episode, you probably have at least your smartphone, and you can create content and share it whoever you want to share it. So just do it. And guys, you know the fact that sometimes speaking English might be challenging, because we don't feel so comfortable. When I started, I didn't feel so comfortable to speak in English and to appear on the camera, but it was important enough for me. It was important enough for me, in my opinion, to speak in English. And I practiced on this every day. And you see, we are going to close 1 year of podcasting, and I only missed 2 episodes until now. 2 episodes. And we just released 3 episodes in 1 day to close the gap. And I'm sorry that I missed this 2 episodes, but on the other side, I only missed 2 episodes. And as you see, my English got way better. And it's not about if my grammar is correct. I try to work on my grammar. I don't know grammar, but I don't care, because what is important to me is just to speak and to have a flow if you're speaking, if you're English. And I know that I'm getting the whole grammar right. I don't care. I'm just focusing on speaking. And guys, I hope this podcast will inspire also you. To inspire you guys. The lady and gentlemen that are watching the podcast, I hope this podcast inspire you. You. Also work on your English and also speak your truth with the board. And inspire the board, because it's really important. And I'm hoping by sharing with you guys my own journey, my own struggles, my own success, failures, and challenging tips, and the lessons that I learned from podcasting for almost 1 year, guys. It's almost 1 year. 250 episodes, it's almost 1 year. So Yeah. You know, it's crazy for almost 1 year, and I really look forward to sharing it with you guys, what I learned from it. And I hope by sharing with you guys, it's been inspiring you also. You see that you are not alone, and there are a lot of people that are struggling to speak in English, but they continue to do it anyway, because it's important, and I hope it's been inspiring. And guys, today to start the new season, to start the new series, your next 5 moves, I invite my angel. I think, I don't know, it's a priest, how you call it. Double chin. Never mind. I don't know how you call it. It's like you walk in the temple or something. Tell me down in the comment below how you call this type of person. But anyway, she said, she's so pure. She said, she prayed for all of us to success in our life and to skills before mission, enough to inspire the world. And if you want to check her out and you want to thank her, you know where you can find her, you know where, in 3, 2, 1, kabam, you can find her on Good Fun. And this great background upload to Good Fun by Nana Lee on 14th of February 2021. As it doesn't say the year over here, you can see it. Nana Lee, we never worked with her, I think. And this is a really great background. So thank you very much, Nali. And of course, we like it. And guys, if you want to download the picture, you just need to choose the resolution over here. Press download. Right click on the picture. Go to שמירת תמונת בשם in Hebrew. Or say pictures in English. And type in the comment below you want it in your own language, and all of us need to guess from where we are. It's going to be a really nice game. Click on it. Choose where you want to save it on your computer. Press save, and kabam, just like that, you will get this great background on your computer. Let's see. Oh, very minutes font. So thank you very much for Nalini for creating this great background. Thank you very much for uploading this great background. Thank you very much for the artists who made this great background, for sharing it with us. And guys, today we are starting a new episode. We start a new series with the next with your next 5 moves by Patrick B. David. I really look forward to read this book, and I really want to read this book since before it came out. Since Patrick, since I saw that Patrick is going to do this, he's going to write this book, he's going to read this book. I wanted to read this book, and now we have the opportunity to finally read it. So guys, let's just read it. And if you want to check out this grand background on, if you want to check out your 5 next move and Patrick B. David, your next 5 moves, and our Patrick B. David social media accounts, I recommend to follow him. Got all things in the description below, so make sure to check him out. Saying that, guys, if anyone will be suggestions for me, I can put myself on the channel. Feel free to do comment, please comment this in the description in a comment below. And guys, if you feel like you want to come to the podcast, being guys in the podcast, share messages about vocal English, or just have a great time with you, because really nice guys, and also speak about books. Type it in the comment below so we can arrange it. We can arrange you coming for your visit on the podcast. You guys, feel free to share your message, to share your stories, to share your takedowns from the podcast, or for me, if you learn something from me on the podcast, you hear maybe you notice you notice some nice quote that you want to tell us, to share with us. Feel free to do it in the comment below, so we can all learn from you, and we can come better. And while it's feeling, before we start this really good series, if you enjoyed the video, please like it, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel, push the notification bell so you'll be notified on each time the extremely exciting episode when coming to YouTube, like the 250 episode, special episode, the new series episode, 260, the last episode of the year, the new episode of the year. Going to be so many great specials that are coming to you. And you know, if you're going to subscribe right now, if your account, with your mother account, with your father account, with anyone account, you're going to get 5 extremely exciting episodes per week. So make sure to check them out and to make sure to subscribe to the channel. And guys, it's a really small effort from you, and it's a really big boost for me. So if you can do it, just do it. Thank you very much, guys. If you feel like do it, just do it. So thank you. Wait, I need to clear my glasses. I clean my glasses because it's driving crazy. Now I can see good, feel good, and let's just dive right into the book. So guys, what I'm to Jackson, let's just dive right into the book. So are you ready for it? Are you ready for it? Your 5 next move by Patrick B. David. Page 1, it's like all the description for page 6 to 10. 6 to page 10, page 6 to page 10, by Patrick B. David, תמיד בתמיד, זה הלג'נד, דבר המוני. דבר המוני, זה המוני himself, give me a drum please. Your boy, AK, yeah, what's up, that's me, so let's go. We start from the cover. Patrick is one of the most exciting thinkers I've had a chance to converse with. Read dialogue, author of Principles, Life and Work. That is the title, your next 5 moves. Masters the Art of Business Strategy by Patrick B. David. Patrick B. David with Greg Thinking. Okay. In dedication to my father, Gabriel B. David, the Aristotle of my life. To Patrick B. David father. Now, also note. I tell stories that go back more than 50 years and do my best to describe those events currently. The people in the book they identified by their first and last names are real people. Those mentioned only by first name are either composite characters or people whose names and identifying details have been changed. The essence of their stories is factual. Wait a minute, I want to see. It's I go to microphone setting. Let me see if I can let's see if I can change. Hey, I don't know if I can change it. I want to make it a sound. I don't see how I can do it. Anyway, make sure. So I've changed the essence of the stories is factual. Page 6, introduction. Before your first move. When I first watched Magnus, the documentary about Magnus Carlsen, I couldn't stop thinking about the pyramids to business. Carlsen is a Norwegian chess prodigy who became a grandmaster at 13. Damn. Talk about a visionary. He is constantly thinking as many as 15 moves ahead. In doing so, he has the uncanny ability to predict and control what his opponents will do. I was also impressed by his meticulous preparation, because Carlsen has played the game in his mind so many times before it actually happens. He is unflappable in the art of battle. Plus, he has to deal with something founders and CEOs face all the time. He said, if you want to get to the top, there is always the risk that it will isolate you from other people. After watching Magnus, I continue to think about how much successful entrepreneurs and chess masters have in common. It didn't surprise me when I learned that Tesla and the SpaceX founder Elon Musk started playing chess at a young age. He is able to see things more clearly in a way that no one else I know of can understand, his brother Kimball said. There is a thing in chess where you can see 12 moves ahead if you're a grandmaster. And in any particular situation, Elon can see things 12 moves ahead. Elon can see things 12 moves ahead. That quote about Musk put everything into perspective. Most people don't think more than 1 or 2 moves ahead. Those people are amateurs and flame out quickly in business. Effective strategy is about making a move and being prepared to launch another series of moves based on how the market or your competition reacts. You must think beyond your first strike to execute an effective strategy. When you start to get really good, you anticipate how others will react and can deploy a series of moves that are nearly impossible to counteract. Though business is a game of thinking several moves ahead, this is not a book about chess. This book is about taking the vision and the mindset of a chess master and applying it to business. In fact, you don't even have to know anything about the game. There aren't any specific chess examples in the pages that follow, but there are plenty of examples of successful men and women who think like winning chess players. People who don't think more than one move ahead are driven by ego, emotion, and fear. Your top salesman threatens to quit if you don't give him a raise. The emotional amateur responds by saying, "Nobody threatens me," or "We don't need him, anyway." The practical strategist, on the other hand, is plotting his next moves. The same approach applies to parenting. Giving kids whatever they demand, whether it's candy, an iPad, or permission to skip piano practice, feels fantastic. They smile and tell you how much they love you. You also know that the alternative, an all-out turn round, during which Venom and the Ether will be outed at you, will feel awful. This scenario shows you that with most business decisions, one is clearly the easier choice. The other, which entails thinking 5 moves ahead, is a more effective choice. I wish somebody had taught me to think this way when I was transitioning from salesman to sales manager to founder to CEO. At every stage of my development, this kind of critical thinking would have saved me millions of dollars and dozens of panic attacks. When I reflect on how I went from a hot-tempered, insecure, cocky elf club salesman to a strategic, self-aware, confident CEO, I see that the key was learning how to think at least 5 moves ahead. Some of you overachievers might be wondering why only 5 moves ahead. There are 2 reasons. First, 5 moves is a sweet spot of a thoughtful strategy and swift action. Though there might be times when you will want to think beyond 5 moves, such as at an annual off-site meeting, or when you are analyzing a possible equation, or building a colony on Mars. Thinking too many moves ahead can lead to paralysis by analysis. 5 moves is enough to make sure you are anticipating future outcomes and seeing moves and counter moves and see moves and counter moves. The second reason is that on a macro level, there are 5 moves you need to master to succeed in business. I've divided the book into those 5 moves to make sure you know exactly what you need I have divided the book into those 5 moves to make sure you know exactly what you need to do to achieve success. There are many things I can do. I'm 6'5" and 240 pounds, but can't play basketball or throw a football. I can't write code or rebuild an engine from scratch. But if there is one thing I can do, it's help entrepreneurs and C-suite executives put together a strategy to conquer a market, the podcast market. When I sit down in a boardroom with a founder or a CEO, we approach strategy as a game. The only difference between a business and a chess, or Monopoly, or Final Fantasy, for that matter, is that we are playing for millions or billions of dollars instead of bragging rights. With this mindset, leaders learn how to create the strategies that position them for growth. As an advisor to executives and a guide to students and aspiring entrepreneurs, one of the most common questions I get is, should I quit my job to start a business? Other frequent questions are, should I raise money by giving up equity or issuing a debt? How do I set up my compensation structure to attract and retain C-suite executives or a 1099 based sales team? Should I expand globally now or wait until market conditions change? The simple questions in business are binary. Their answer is either yes or no. The trap is believing that all answers are binary. The answer to any question is actually a series of moves deployed in the proper sequence. Experts often make things worse by giving yes or no answers as if everyone fits into the same box. That is why, as you will see, our first move is figuring out who you are and what you want. The other problem I see is a lack of planning. Enthusiasm can be powerful, as long as it's coupled with planning 5 moves ahead. Too many people want to make move number 5 without first going through the first 4 moves. There is a sequence to it. To reach the next level, we have to shift from one track and one move, thinking to seeing many moves ahead. If you are clear that you want to be an entrepreneur, quitting your job might be move 4, or it could lead to a series of moves to create a lucrative position within your current company. Becoming an entrepreneur, which we will cover in chapter 3. If you have a family and don't have any savings, quitting your job is definitely not move 1. In fact, you might not ever have to quit your job to become exactly who you want to be. The information in this book applies to people in all paths of life and at all levels of business. You might be a CEO who loves being a CEO, or a freelancer who enjoys the variety and flexibility of being a. The line is delete. So it's being a freelancer. Solopreneur. One of the things I love so much about business is that there is a path for everyone. As long as you have a self-awareness and the willingness to think 5 moves ahead. Regardless of which sequence fits your circumstances, what sets show the strategist apart is their ability to anticipate. The best military leaders have a knack for planning several moves ahead. The top fighters know how to set up their opponent. They might be willing to lose in round one because a move that seems to be working against them early in the fight is actually being used to bait their opponent into a mistake in a later round. World-class poker players do the same thing, making a bluff and sacrificing chips early in the game to set into motion a series of moves that will ultimately push the opponent. And for we don't necessarily think of Warren Buffett as a chess master. His sustained success comes from his patient, strategic approach. Buffett isn't trying to win a particular trade or even the quarter or year. He's making a series of moves to win the long game. NBA legend Kobe Bryant told me, less than 6 months before his tragic death, that when he was 13, he already knew he wanted to be one of the greatest basketball players of all time. At that time, he was the 56th ranked player in the nation. He created a hit list of all the names ahead of him until 5 years later, he passed them all and became a first-round pick right out of high school. Rumor has it that Michael Jordan used playing for the 1992 US Olympic Dream Team as a way to learn the weaknesses of his teammates and use those weaknesses against them when he returned to the NBA. Both of those players were master strategists who were always thinking at least 5 moves ahead. You will need to think this way too, especially if you plan on competing in your market and eventually dominating your industry. In the pages that follow, I will give you everything you need to think like a master strategist. I'm also going to show you how to 1. Differentiate yourself and communicate your unique value. 2. Find investors and build a high valuation for a lucrative exit. 3. Attract top talent and design insensitive to cultivate and keep them. Incentives for maintain systems during rapid growth and staying power/sanity during chaos. 5. Process issues. Make decisions and effectively solve problems. 6. Identify who you want to be and the legacy you will create. 7. Negotiate. Sell and strategies as if your life depends on it. Maybe you picked up this book thinking that you lack the education or resources to build the business. Or you might be the person with the IQ who can't make a decision to save your life because you're always overthinking it. It doesn't matter where you start. If you have any doubt that someone can't grow to be an entrepreneur, consider my story. If you have any doubt that anyone can't grow to be an entrepreneur, consider my story. Anyone who knew me growing up would have labeled me less likely to succeed. You're going to see how I went from a guy who couldn't think ahead at all, and this resulted 26 credit cards and a total of $49,000 in debt to a CEO. You will see how I founded a PhD agency, a financial services marketing company with 66 agents in one office in Long Beach, California. And 10 years later, had grown it to more than 15,000. Wow, damn. 15,000 agents with 120 offices in 49 states and Puerto Rico. I'm proud of the fact that our agency is recognized for its unique diversity, millennial culture, and social media presence. We did it in the life insurance industry, which has a boring reputation. The average life insurance agent is a 57-year-old white man. Our average agent is a 34 years old Latino woman. We haven't been successful because of our connections or thanks to any good fortune. In fact, my personal background proves that entrepreneurs can come from anywhere and don't have any qualities that you don't also possess. Title: The least likely CEO. I grew up in Tehran, the capital of Iran. During the Iran-Iraq war in 1987, my family lived with the possibility of an attack at any moment. Even though I was only 8, the sounds still stick with me. Every attack, the sounds still stick with me. Every attack began with a siren, and the sound alone could pierce your soul. Then a voice would warn of enemy planes crossing the border. Finally, we would hear the whistling sound of bombs and falling through the air. After each whistle, we prayed that our shelter wouldn't get hit. I remember sitting next to my parents, frightened beyond belief. Finally, my mother had enough. She told my father that if we didn't leave the country, their son was going to get stuck and have to serve in the Iranian army. My dad realized that the surest way to fail would be to fail to act. Getting interesting, right? Right, guys? And guess what, guys? This is the end of the episode. So guys, thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate the fact that you choose to invest your time in me, and I really hope that you enjoy the episode. This is the beginning of the book, and it's going to be dope. It's going to be great. So guys, thank you very much, and I really hope to see you all guys tomorrow for the next episode, the extremely exciting episode of the greatest booklet in the world. Until then, have a great time, take yourself, and bye-bye. So today it's Sunday, 12th on December 2021, and the time now it's 21:08. יום ראשון, 12/12/2021, השעה עכשיו היא 9:10, ולצערי גיליתי מי ניצח ב-UFC עם מלא הפתעות. מה שגיליתי כנראה שמנדלונס הפסידה, אוליביירה נשאר מנצח, שאומר ניצח, כל השאר לא מכיר. עכשיו מצאתי איזה לינק ברוסית, נחכה אולי הם יעלו לנקוד מעט באנגלית, אולי מחר-מחרתיים, אני חושב שאני יודע כל מי מנצח פחות, אבל אני חייב לראות את הקרבות האלה. יאללה, כל הכבוד למי שניצחה, פניניה, שניצחה את אמנדלונס, אם היא ניצחה באמת, וואו. יאללה, שמחה והצלחה, להתראות. נפגש מחר, ואולי נקליט עכשיו עוד פרק, יאללה, ביי, זה מה קורה.